Hi everyone, welcome back to Move Wilder. My name is Hannah and today I want to take you through a 30-minute Pilates class for football. Whether you're sprinting for the ball, leaping for the ball or kicking the ball to a teammate, football is a multi-directional sport. It's a dynamic game which requires quick reactions, strong balance and movement precision. Pilates trains the whole body as one system, focusing on functional strength and muscle balance. Training the body in this way means that on the pitch, when you need to change direction, the stabilising muscles are doing their job of stabilising the body, so the prime movers, the muscles in charge of movement, can move more effectively. Finally, football players often suffer from tightness in the hips, hamstrings and lower back. So in this 30-minute session, we're going to look to address some of those muscle imbalances, improve the flexibility and mobility around the hips, and address any other imbalances caused by football and work on building a balanced body that is ready for the pitch. Let's get going. We're now going to go through a dynamic warm-up. So we're going to start with the upper body. We're just going to stretch down to one side, reach up and over. We're going to do 30 seconds of side bend. So just stretching that arm up and over, making sure your elbow is staying in line with your ear as you bring it up and over your head and you're not rolling your shoulders forwards, keeping your knees soft, feet facing forward. So we're in our neutral stance position. Tailbone stays tucked underneath you. And then once we've done our 30 seconds of side bend, we are going to go into some rotation. So we're going to do drawing the arrow. So you're going to bring both arms out in front and then you're going to bring one arm back, rotating through that mid spine. So that thoracic spine is rotating. Think rib cage moving, keeping everything else nice, still using your core. So thinking pulling your ribs down towards your hips, your hip bones together. And again, we're going to do 30 seconds of this. "30 seconds of squat." So you're just going to keep your feet either hip or shoulder distance apart. Squat down into your squat as low as you feel comfortable. Remember, we're still warming up here, so it doesn't need to be really deep. And then we're going to just push back up, thinking heels first as you come back to standing, keeping your knees tracking your toes, chest lifted, eyes on the horizon. Next, we are going to go into a balance. So you're going to come up onto one leg. You're going to bring your arms above your head and we're going to circle the arms gently for 8 circles in one direction and then 8 circles in the other direction. Then we're going to change to the other leg and do those circles again in each direction, keeping everything else nice and still, maintaining that core. So I think rib to hip, hip to hip. And then we're going to go to bigger circles out the side. So you're going to bring those arms out and do the biggest circle you can from your sides. Again, standing on one leg as you circle, changing to the other side. And then our final warm-up exercise today, we're going to come down into our 4-point kneeling position, knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. We're going to lift the leg and then you're going to gently draw a circle with that leg. So we're just working into that hip, glutes and leg. We're going to do up to 10 circles in one direction and then up to 10 circles in the other direction, and then we're going to swap to the other side. Now you've done your dynamic warm-up, you are ready to get on with the rest of your training. I hope you enjoy your session. I'm now going to take you through a myofascial release tennis ball roll on the bottom of your foot. So I'm using a spiky massage ball, but you could use a tennis ball or even a lacrosse ball. Just going to roll the ball for 15 seconds under your toes and the ball of your foot. Then you're going to move it back into the middle of your foot for another 15 seconds from side to side. And then finally, you're going to just push the foot forward and slide it back along that ball. And we're going to do that for about 30 seconds, but do it for a period of time that feels right for you. So no more than a minute, but somewhere between like 20 seconds and 60 seconds would be fine. And then we'll swap to the other foot. And this is just going to help to rejuvenate the arches of your feet and get your feet working really well, get them sitting in better alignment. And then once you feel like you've done enough on the bottom of your feet, just going to gently come back into our rest position. Next, we're going to do a lunge with rotation. So starting in your neutral spine position, stepping forward with your right leg, and then we're going to rotate that upper body over the right leg, making sure your hip, knee and foot stay in alignment as you rotate. We're going to hold that rotation for somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds and then swap to the other side. This is a really good exercise for building strength in your legs as well as improving that rotational mobility of your thoracic spine. Every time you step out into your lunge, making sure that your foot, knee and hip stay in alignment. Coming into a low lunge or as low as you feel is right for you. So you can feel those legs working, but you can keep going and maintain good balance throughout the move. Lunges are a really good exercise for working the legs independently. So you'll know here if you've got a side that is more tricky, and that's probably the side that's slightly weaker, so you can then work on that. So this is a really good way of telling if you've got a side that feels less balanced. This is probably the side you need to work on, and the side of your body that's weaker. As you rotate over that front leg, keeping that knee tracking your toe, make sure that that knee doesn't fall in. If you need to make the steps smaller so that you feel more balanced, that's always an option. Holding that lunge and then pushing back to standing. And we're nearly at the end of our set. So you should really start to feel this in the legs. This is a great exercise for building strength around the knee joint and around the pelvis. Also building core strength, keeping that core switched on as you rotate. Building that lovely mobility through the thoracic spine. You're doing really great. We are nearly at the end of our set. Keep stepping forward. See if you can get lower for these last couple of lunges. We're going to see if we can go a little bit lower. It's my challenge for you. Get a little bit lower for the next couple. And then once you've finished, coming into your rest pose. Now I'm going to take you through a roll down. So this is one of our 34 classical Pilates exercises, and we're going to add in press ups as well. So coming to the end of your mat, feet hip distance apart, pelvis underneath you, taking a nice inhale at the top, expanding that rib cage. Exhale, engaging your pelvic floor and core, gently bringing your chin to chest, and we're going to roll down through each vertebrae one at a time. At the bottom, keeping your heels on the floor, walking forward into your high press up position. Then you can bring your knees to the floor into your 3/4 press up if that is better for you, or you can maintain that full press up position and do your press ups from there if that is better for you. Somewhere between 2 and 6 press ups per roll down, please. Then walking yourself back into the bottom of your roll down, taking an inhale, and on your next exhale, gently restacking those vertebrae back to standing. This is a really nice mobility exercise for your spine, so keep it nice and slow and controlled. It should take somewhere between 8 and 10 seconds to roll down to the floor. Don't rush this part. Maintaining your core connection as you do your press ups, breathing however works for you whilst you are doing your press ups. When you get to the bottom of your roll down, pushing down into those toes so you really can bring your pelvis up over your heels and not so it's behind you. So your body should come back up and be in a really balanced, neutral spine position. If you need to at any point reduce the amount of press-ups or go to a 3/4 press-up, if you're doing a full press-up, that's absolutely fine. Just work in the range that you feel is right for you today, and then you can always up that and increase that as the weeks go on. In your press-ups, you can always come onto a fist if that's more comfortable for the wrist. And as you roll back up, we're going to push down into the toes so you bring your pelvis forward, then your pelvis and your heels align as you come up. We're slowly rolling through vertebrae by vertebrae until you're standing up nice and tall, eyes on the horizon, taking the inhale at the top, and then exhale, pulling your ribs down towards your hips, engaging your core and pelvic floor. So with pelvic floor, we're thinking sit bone to sit bone, pubic bone to tailbone, slowly rolling through each vertebrae again and walking out into your press up. With your full press up, making sure that you're not letting your pelvis dip. So if you feel like your back is arching and you're dipping in the middle, then go back to your 3/4 press up. This is going to protect your back. Keeping those knees soft as you roll up, making sure you're not pushing down. Make sure you're not pushing the kneecaps backwards and locking out the knees. This is a great mobility exercise for your spine. It's a really good opportunity for you to work on that connection between the core, pelvic floor, and your breathing. If you need to adjust your press ups at any point, you can do. Keeping the elbows going out from your sides, head in line with the rest of your spine. once you finish your set, coming back into your rest pose. Now I'm going to take you through a nice exercise for building strength in your lower back. So we're going to stand in the band, feet hip distance apart, arms are gently resting by your side, shoulder blades melting down your back. And we're just going to bend to start with from side to side. You could also do this with weights in your hand if you wanted to. Just pick a weight that you feel is an acceptable weight for the strength you've got in your lower back. So don't pick something that's really heavy to start with, because we're doing quite a few reps of this. So pick something that you feel is a manageable weight if you're using a weight instead. Then what we're going to do is start to lift and lower the elbow, as you'll see in the video. So we're bringing in some arm work here as well, still staying on that side plane of movement, so bending from side to side. Lower back strength is really important for maintaining good posture and having a good position on the bike. So if you do get lower back pain, it might be that your lower back is weak, and we need to work on strengthening not only the core but also the lower back, and this is a good way of doing that. Once you've finished, coming into your rest pose. I'm now going to take you through the QL stretch. You're going to sit with your feet just further than hip distance apart. Take your right hand under the inside of your right leg. Rotate your body away to the left and bring your left arm up and over your ear and point it towards your toes. We're going to hold this position for 30 seconds. You should maintain a seated position with your sit bones stuck to the floor throughout your hold, and you should feel this stretch in your low back. Once you've done 30 seconds, you're going to come back to the neutral. Left hand goes under your left knee, and then you're going to rotate your body to the right and bring your right hand over towards your left toes, keeping your elbow over the top of your ear, so you're getting that nice stretch through the back of your back. Again, we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Once you've done your 30 seconds, coming back up to a seated position. We're now going to go through shoulder bridge, which is one of my favourite exercises. So we're going to come to laying down on the mat. Feet are hip distance apart, pelvis is in neutral, and arms are just gently resting on the floor. Turning your palm up if you feel like you're going to push your hands down into the mat. We're then going to take a gentle inhale, and then on your exhale, you're going to slowly roll up by each vertebrae at a time until you're at the top of your bridge. At the top of your bridge, you should feel the weight in your shoulders and your feet, not in your neck. We're going to hold it there for an inhale, and then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, we're going to pop those vertebrae back down onto the floor until your pelvis rolls into its neutral position, where that little gap is behind the lower back, but you're not arching your back. Holding at the top for an inhale, and then exhale slowly back down. Shoulder bridge is a great move for building mobility of the spine, so it's going to gently move the spine and mobilize those facet joints. Keep pushing down into your toes as you roll up and down. This is going to help to engage those hamstrings, get them involved, get those muscles working. You should also feel this in your glutes as well. And once you're finished, we're going to hug the knees into your chest, give yourself a little back rock for your own count of 10 to 15 seconds, and then come back to sitting. Swan dive with the band is a great exercise for building strength in your upper back. So we're going to come down onto our front, going to bring your arms into your swan dive position with a gentle bend in the elbow and bring the band out in front of you. You're in control of how hard you work, so the less band you have in the middle of your hands, the harder you're going to make it. Going to lift your body up and then raise the arms to meet your upper body and then pull the band out to the sides. We're going to hold this for somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds and then release the arms back to the middle with the upper body staying off the ground. You can do this once or you can do it twice if you like. You can do it a couple more times if you feel you really would like to try and really focus on that upper back today. So just hit pause and then join us when you have finished your arm reps. Keeping that lower body switched off, so keeping those toes turned in, trying to keep the feet on the floor, make sure the feet aren't raising up off the floor. Shouldn't feel any tension in the lower back. You might feel a little bit of pulling, but there should be no pinching. Keeping your eye line down to the floor, so make sure you're not lifting your chin. If you can see what's in front of you, you're looking in the wrong direction. You should be looking down at the mat. So I'm just going to show you from the top now, so you can see I'm pulling the band out, fully extending through the arm, and then slowly bringing my arms back to the middle. Lower body stays switched off, eye line down to the floor. So I'm keeping a nice long spine as I pull the band out, holding again for between 3 and 5 seconds and then releasing that back off. And once you're finished, coming into child's pose, and we're just going to hold that for 20 seconds. I'm now going to take you through a really nice hip flexor stretch. So we're going to come onto our knees. So if you need to, rolling the mat up a little bit so that you've got more cushion under the knee joint is definitely a good idea. Then we're going to take a step forward with the left foot, keeping your pelvis underneath you, glutes engaged. We're going to push forward into that bent leg and keep your chest lifted. We're holding this stretch for around 30 seconds. We're then going to bring the right arm up and over and stretch out to the side. So you might find that this changes where you're feeling the stretch. You might get it more in your abs, around the side of your hip. That's absolutely fine. And again, we're holding this for 30 seconds. We're then going to change to the other side. So bring the right leg forward, keep your pelvis underneath you, push forward into that bent leg, feeling the stretch in the front of the hip for 30 seconds. And then bringing the left arm up and over so that you can feel the stretch in your side, maybe a bit in your abs, like I said as well. Once you've held this for 30 seconds, we're going to return to our rest pose. This exercise is hip flexor strength. So when I come to sitting on your sit bones, bring your legs to one side of an object, and then we're going to slowly lift and lower the legs over the object. Now I'm using a kettlebell here, but it doesn't have to be a piece of gym equipment. It could be a football, it could be a water bottle. It really doesn't matter what it is. The more important piece of information is what is happening to your back as you lift that leg over. You shouldn't be leaning back. If you are, I want you to try and sit up nice and tall. Imagine someone's got a piece of string from the top of your head and they're pulling you up towards the ceiling, keeping that core switched on. So we're thinking rib to hip connection here. This is a great exercise for building strength in the hip flexors, and weakness in the hip flexors can cause back pain, hip pain, and also tension when you're doing exercises where you need to extend through the hip flexors. So what we're going to do here is build strength in those hip flexors, which is going to allow for better stability and muscle balance around the pelvis. Once you have done your set, we're going to come into our rest pose. I'm now going to take you through, in my opinion, one of the best stretches. So we're going to do a hamstring stretch. Going to lay on your back, going to bring your right foot up into the band, making sure it's more around the back of your foot, so to your heel, than towards your toes. And then you're gently going to pull that band in until you can feel that mild tension in your hamstrings. We're going to hold that for about 6 seconds, and then we're going to develop it by pointing your toes at your face and pulling that leg a little bit closer, and we're holding this for around 30 seconds. And then going to put the band into the left hand and guide the leg over to the left hand side of the body. So you should now feel the stretch in the outside of that leg. Again, holding for 6 seconds and then seeing if we can develop it. Bring the foot a little bit closer to your body for an additional 30. Then we're going to bring the band and the leg back to the middle, put the band into your right hand and guide the leg out to the side, and we're going to hold it there for again 6 seconds and then try and just bring that foot a little bit closer to your body for a further 30. Bringing your leg back to the middle, we're going to open the band up, put the left foot in the band, bring the right foot back so it's flat on the floor, and start with that hamstring stretch again. So pulling the leg towards you, 6 seconds, then pointing your toes at your face, pull it a little bit closer, see if you can develop it for a further 30. Then putting the band in your right hand, pulling it over to the right hand side of your body, 6-second hold, and then see if you can develop it for a further 30. And then we're going to put the band into the left hand, let the leg fall out to the side, right hip must remain on the floor, holding for 6 seconds, and then see if you can develop it a little bit further for a further 30. Taking the band off your foot, take a full body stretch and come back to your rest pose. Love to know what you think. Is that the best stretch?